Okay. State of mind today. We have, by popular demand, someone, uh, and it's gonna be cool because I got questions that you guys want me to ask him, and he's Mr. Knowledge. That's who he is. And I'm just gonna get right into it, just because. Oh yeah, and this thing I already talked about it on another state of mind, but thank you so much, everybody. Bottom line is, we can't do it without you guys. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but the truth is, I've always known that from the beginning, and you guys have always been there for me in everything I do, and it's just freaking beautiful. It's beautiful. All right. His name is Clark Bartram. How are you, brother?
Brother,
You're back, man.
I'm so happy to be back. You like the energy when you walk into this place just makes you want to do what we're doing right now. And congratulations on that YouTube award. That is not easy to do. And I'm a little bit jealous. I'm just going to be honest right now.
I would be too if somebody else had it and I didn't.
Yeah, man, that takes a lot to get 100,000 subscribers. Think 100,000 people pressed a button that said, "I'm really interested in what you have to say." 100,000 people, brother. Have you ever really broke it down like that?
I never thought of it.
They sat there with the opportunity to say yes or no to Maurice Benard and what you're doing. And 100,000 people said yes. You deserve that thing, man.
Thank you, brother. Wow. I never thought of it like that. Now I'm going to think about that every second.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you, man, before we get into the questions and stuff, of what happened to me. Because the last conversation we had was about getting on a plane and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you this whole thing that happened. I was going to New York to do The View, Tamron Hall, Nightline. I was going to do Chris Cuomo, but he canceled on me. But, so it was important, right?
So this is recently?
Yeah, this was Thursday.
Okay, so when I saw you on The View talking about your son,
yes,
which, by the way, that's super cool too.
That was cool too, yes.
I won't make you cry.
No, I'm not going to cry.
Okay.
Well, maybe I will. I don't know. So everything was cool. I've been feeling great. I told you. You told me about your experience on the plane. I told you about mine. I got off 2 planes, as people who know. And so I'm going up the stairs to go on the plane. I think I started feeling tight a little bit. But I was, then I get into first class, big first class. Sat down. Terror hit. And automatically, the first class got small. Okay? I'm just going to explain to my state of mind audience what happens in this situation. From looking at it, standing up, going in, everything seemed big, bed and everything. It's those bed ones, right? Because I can't do it otherwise. So, but once I sat down, it got small. And my mind went, it's too small. Okay? Then it said, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. And the exit was right in front of me. So, okay, so I started thinking of The View and, all that stuff, more pressure. And then it was the first time that I flew without my wife in forever. So my head started going, your wife's not here. Your wife's not here. Like Freddy Krueger up here, right? Your wife's not there. Your wife's not there. So you got nobody to talk to, nobody to help you. And I'm like, I got to get off. So I did what I tell everybody to do, distract your thoughts. So I got a magazine, started looking at it, still. And then I got Twitter. I started looking at my Twitter. Did a breathing exercise, a little bit better, but it's not going away. And I'm like, then your mind starts going 5 hours I can't do this for 5 hours. So I took this Comigo. You know what Comigo is?
Yep.
Oh, you do?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, Clark knows what Comigo is. So I took this Comigo that they gave me for free because they're kind of sponsoring me. I don't know, you better now. And I took it out of my pocket. It's like an inhaler. You see a little light. Gone.
Yeah.
Clark. Gone. What the hell? And you know what? I started crying because I knew that I wouldn't have to feel that feeling. And I'm crying uncontrollably, like a bit, and then I was a little embarrassed because, people kind of looking at me, is he okay, whatever. But I was so freaking happy that I didn't have to feel that terror. So Comigo works. What do you know about Comigo?
Well, it's the thing it made me think about is, like you said, you breathe into this thing.
Yeah.
Remember back in the old days, you look at a movie or something, they're breathing into a
Yes,
brown paper bag.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're rebreathing that air.
And there's scent in there.
Yeah, so the scent, right, like essential oils help with it, right? There's a lot of talk about essential oils helping with calming. But just something about rebreathing that air is calming, right? So I don't know the science behind it, but there's definitely something to it. As simple as breathing into a paper bag. But now we live in a day and age where we have these little devices which look cooler, right? And make us feel even safer with them. But thank God you had that thing in your pocket and you were smart enough to know, because you didn't have your wife there. And that was typically what helped you stay calm, because you knew you had someone to turn to who would grab your hand. I've been in a situation before where I've grabbed other people's hands, because you're now in a position in life where you can recognize if somebody else is in that situation. So I was in the back of an airplane one time, completely opposite of first class, near the back restroom on the aisle seat. And across from the aisle from me was a young man. And out of my peripheral, I could see him starting to go into what I knew was a panic attack, because like you, I've been there. And when you were explaining it, I started to feel it. Wow. And anyone who's watching us right now who's experienced that knows it too well and how it feels. But I saw him and I just leaned over and I said, "Are you okay? Do you need me to sit next to you?" And he said, "Would you please?"
Oh, that's so
And I got
cool,
up
man.
and I sat next to him in the back of the airplane.
Wow.
And we had a beautiful conversation for 3-4 hours, however long the flight was. And he was able to, make it to his destination. And another time I was in the airport and buying some Listerine breath strips. And I saw a girl crying on the ground. People walking past her, walking past. And I went up and kneeled down next to her and I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "No, I'm not." I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I think I'm having a panic attack." And I said, "Well, tell me what you're feeling." I said, "You are, but it's okay." I said, "Where are you going?" "Phoenix." I said, "I'm going to Phoenix too. How about we switch seats? We'll get whoever and I'll sit next to you." So we sat next to each other the whole way and she was fine. So it's that human connection, or that connection.
Yeah.
I think that's what that rebreathing does. It just keeps you connected to reality, when this voice, like Freddy Krueger, was trying to take you out of reality and put you into a place that wasn't real, right? It wasn't real. The plane wasn't crashing. Nothing was going to happen to you. That luxury seat was there. All you had to do was lay back and go to sleep,
And all of a sudden, the seat got bigger.
Yeah. Because you came back into what was true and not what was being created in your mind.
And I also believe that when you look at the lights, because you have to wait till the lights go up and then you do it again, that takes you out of your thoughts. Because
you're focused in on those lights. It's very smart technology. And I've just heard about it. I think I saw ads on, to answer your question, I saw ads on TikTok or one of the platforms.
I think that's
so we're going to get targeted now because our phones are listening. So that's a whole nother thing.
So what else? That's what happened. And, it's like with all this kind of, it's I think, I don't know if I talked to you about it. It's interesting. It's interesting because I always say, live your life like you're in gears, right? I don't know if I talked to you about it because I have so many of these.
Yeah.
You want to live in first, second gear. You can go to third, but don't go to fourth, and don't go to fifth, and don't go to sixth. And I've been in 6 and 7 too many times to even want to remember. So I'm operating now in first and second gear, but look, even if you're in first and second gear, it can still come.
Yeah.
And it did with me because I didn't think it was going to, because I've feeling great for 2 years or longer. But boy, it hit.
That's when they get you.
Terror hits. It's amazing because now I'm looking at it from almost like observing it also. Before I couldn't do that. But when it hit, I'm like, oh, it's a rush of fear.
I'm telling you, I was literally feeling the horror and the terror. Like, those are two really good descriptive words that help people understand what it's like if they've never experienced that before. So my question for you is, so you had to come back home on a flight, obviously. How did you handle that? Did you start building that up? Oh, is it going to happen again? Or did you just...
Now that I have, and I don't want to keep saying it until they...
Well, they need to sponsor you.
Yeah.
Comago, sponsor my man right
exactly.
now. What's it going to take? I mean, you send them a few grand a month and some products.
Exactly.
Come on.
Nobody can sell it like I can sell it. Especially now that I've lived it. I've never talked about it before because I didn't experience it.
Yeah.
Now that I know it worked like that, I was like, wow. So when I came on the plane now, I have a backup. It's much better. And I sat with Black China the whole trip. We talked and she was cool. And yes, when I went to sleep, woke up, it started to come. I didn't need anything though. I got through that real quick. So now that I have, I guess it would be like somebody taking pills or whatever people drink to fly. But this is natural. So I'm cool.
Yeah, it's great. Just breathing in some essential oils, I guess. That's it, right?
Yeah.
I'll put essential oils on my hands before I fly sometimes, and just...
Ooh,
so
yeah.
you're really rebreathing that way too.
Yeah.
And then you could focus on something on the wall. So if someone didn't have that, Comago, they could do something very similar that does the same thing.
Exactly. So what have you been doing since you came here?
Waiting to come back, man.
This guy, you got to check out his stuff, man. On TikTok, he's got 80,000 million followers. But I watch his stuff all the time, and it's just constant.
You have to be constant.
I know, but you're beyond constant. You're like the professional constant.
Well, when people are coming to you and they hit that like button or that yes button like you have there that we talked about earlier, I think you owe them the content that is worth their time.
That's not,
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
We get up and we think about who's the best guest I could bring on. Oh, let me think. Clark Bartram. What could I create that makes people want to stick around and listen? And that really helps the platform as well, because that's what the platforms are looking for. They're looking for people who want or have people who want to stay and watch, so they stay on that platform longer.
Yeah.
So it's our job as
Now,
influencers.
do you do all that stuff, or somebody does
I don't do the editing.
Yeah.
I have a team of people. My team is growing every day, and I'm thankful for that.
Look at my team is growing.
It's growing every day, man. I dreamt about it one day. I worked for another company years ago, and I was the over 50 influencer, and I watched the business, and I thought I could do this better or different and not be held back by their restraints and the things that they want me to do or not do. And I said, one day I want to build a team. And it was just probably a week ago that I realized that I have that team, that I needed to take the time to step back and actually realize it. That's the truth about all of our lives. We have what we need. We have what we want. We just get so caught up in living in fifth and sixth gear that we're going too damn fast to see it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got to slow down. It's the old saying, stop and smell the roses or the coffee or whatever it is that you need to smell. But I did a post the other day where I said, I'm going to show you 5 things that prove I'm filthy rich. And I just turned on my water. I just flushed my toilet. I showed that I have more than one pair of shoes. I have more options for t-shirts and jeans than I could ever want. And I am blessed beyond belief because of those things. And when I realized that, it makes all of the other things so much better in my life that I could look at differently if I didn't slow down.
Absolutely. Speaking of t-shirts, this is one of my I got go to MauriceBenard.com since we're promoting, and you get t-shirts and it's cool. It's a great website that I did.
Is there any meaning behind Get Up?
Yeah,
Get Out?
because on the back it says your bed is your quicksand.
Okay.
Because when I'm depressed, I've been depressed, your bed is like your quicksand. You don't want to get up.
So are all your t-shirts meant to some mental health message? I love that, man.
See that, Clark?
That's marketing, brother. You're smart.
All right, let's get to these questions.
All right.
Because otherwise... Okay, Mr. Bartram. You ready for the first one?
Yes.
Okay. And I should probably tell you what I want to do after and then you're going to ask me questions.
Okay.
At the end, like 5 questions.
Okay.
Okay, so you get maybe in your mind a little bit.
All right.
How much calcium do women need different as they age?
Well, osteoporosis is real, and it is just your bones getting more brittle and less dense and not as strong as they were. So I would say instead of calcium, I wouldn't focus on calcium as much as I would focus on resistance training, meaning lifting something. It doesn't need to be a heavy weight in a gym. It could be a band. It could be anything that is heavier than air, really. That's resistance training, because that is really, truly what helps bone mass density or osteoporosis. It's not calcium. I mean, calcium is important, of course, and I don't know what the exact number is because I don't have the privilege of seeing that person's blood.
Right.
That's the number one way for anyone to determine how much of any mineral or vitamin they're missing in their body is getting their blood checked. So that's my recommendation, other than the resistance training, would be get a recent blood panel and look at calcium and then address it from there. I actually now am working with a company, I had mentioned that when I came in here, where we do that. We take your blood and then we prescribe vitamins and minerals that are lacking in the blood work, because blood don't lie.
Could you take my blood?
I could absolutely take your blood.
So, because I have to check my lithium.
Yeah.
See if my lithium's all right. You do that too? Or
We do all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I need to do that.
Yeah.
So I got to do that.
Okay.
My kidneys.
We all got to do that. And men don't, and I think women, I'm assuming that's from a woman because that's, yeah. So women do it more than men do. They're more focused on their health.
Yeah.
Guys are, like we had mentioned last time, tough guys. I don't even do that. I don't go to the dentist. I don't go to the doctor. I'm not letting anyone stick a finger up my butt. That's gay. It's like, come on, man.
Exactly. I'm with you. Now, Kyle Odom, who's been on my show, she's had like 70 surgeries or something. It's crazy. How to get my muscles back after 22 spine surgeries?
Carefully and thoughtfully. So it doesn't mean that she cannot do anything. 22 spine surgeries, my heart goes out to you. Kaya was her name?
Kyle Odom.
Kyle. So I would hire a personal trainer who really understands how to work with somebody with that many surgeries. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do back squats where you're putting a weight on your back, but you can still squat without resistance, because one thing that happens with that many surgeries is loss of mobility. So we want to make sure that she has mobility through movement and not moving. So let me explain it this way. Back when we were young, the surgeries that we got, you would be in bed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, if you get a surgery, they have you out of bed in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
My son too.
Right. They want you moving right away, because mobility is the key to life. If we're not mobile, we break hips and we do those sorts of things. I always tell my people this: do what you can the best you can. So Kyle's own, she wouldn't be able to do certain things, but that doesn't mean she can't do anything. And another thing I say all the time is, don't let one thing ruin everything.
Yeah.
So having 22 back surgeries, yes, that's hard. I don't understand what it's like. I hopefully never will. But I'm certain there are things that she can do with the right instruction.
Yeah. Thank you, Clark. I really appreciate that. Tina Shalmo, whatever. Best way to lose fat. What type of exercises? Eating clean, plant-based, red meat. What's the best?
Yes. To all the above. Yeah. See, there's no one way to do anything. Like veganism is, I don't like any isms. So veganism isn't the best way to go, or carnivoreism, just eating meat only. There are benefits to all of these. And I would say that balancing them out, having balanced meals, having all of your macros, having meat and vegetables and some form of good carbohydrate. But to answer the question more precisely, yes, you need to exercise within her abilities, and then eating the right way. Again, that is hiring a person. I have an app. They could go to cbxcoaching.com, and there's an app. They just plug in their height and weight and gender and all of that, and it will spit out any diet that they want. So if they want to do ketosis or intermittent fasting or low protein or low fat, high protein, it's on there. And then I have people who will adjust it accordingly as their body changes.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's cheap to get.
This one is Lisa Demergis. She's very sweet. Is walking better than running?
I would say yes.
I agree with you, man.
Yes. The only time you'll see me running is someone's chasing me. You know, yeah. I do sprints, but
I do walk and then I sprint. Walk and then I sprint.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And again, it's within the abilities, but we should all be walking. And another thing for anyone who, if you walk right after you eat, you're going to regulate your blood sugar. That's the number one thing. Just walk for 10 minutes after your meal. Do not sit down after you have a big meal. What happens after Thanksgiving dinner? Everyone falls asleep, right? And everyone's lethargic. Everyone feels like crap because they've eaten too much and did nothing afterwards. But if you eat a meal that is in the correct proportions and you go out and walk afterwards, that will help a lot, just that in and of itself.
That's very true. I love walking now, man. I didn't do it before. This is Anna Patrick. How much sleep should we get?
So I saw a little thing there. It's almost like a riddle. I figured it out, though, already. Lisa Demergis and Anna Patrick.
You're cool, man. That's freaking smart of you.
So what was the question?
How much sleep should we get?
We should get, well, it's different for everybody, but the studies now are really going back to what we've learned before. 7 to 8 hours a night you should be getting.
That really, 7 to 8?
Yeah, right? Recover, especially as we age.
But what about if you nap?
Recovery is important. Napping is good, right? So as long as you're getting that restorative sleep. If you're taking a 15-minute nap, you're not really going into REM and deep sleep and the 90-minute cycles that sleep goes in. So you should have a bedtime and a wake-up time. Look, when we were kids, we slept a lot because we were growing.
Yeah.
And we needed to recover so we could grow. The growing process is it takes a lot of energy.
Right.
The aging process is the opposite end of the spectrum, but kind of like the same thing. So as we age, the importance of sleep becomes more and more vital to us to do. So going to bed at a certain time really helps people get the sleep that they need. What we do is we live in second, fourth, fifth, sixth gear, and we take this pride of we are grinding and we're working so hard. Man, I stayed up till midnight last night and I got up at 4.
Yeah.
Why? What were you doing that was so important that you couldn't go to sleep at 8 and get up at 4? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
People will troll me on the internet because I say I go to bed at 8. I'm sleeping by 8:06. I wake up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I feel refreshed and great. No coffee needed. No energy drinks needed, none of that stuff. And that's part of the issue too, right? So I would say at least 7 hours, man.
Okay, we got it. Next. This is from Mark Coloma.
Okay.
How many times a week should you have sex?
It depends.
I mean, don't they say that you got to have more? You live longer or something if you have more sex, like during.
Well, you certainly are going to manage your stress better.
Yeah.
You know, every time you orgasm, you're releasing a lot of just built up energy, right? And it just, it feels so good.
Yeah.
So I would say as often as possible, but there's a point in time where you could have too much sex too.
That's
right?
true too.
There are sex addicts. And things like that. So I guess it's dependent upon your partner and how willing they are. And here's the important thing is the connection, right? If there's a true connection there, then the sex is more meaningful than just going in and busting a nut. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you there.
So, we could get into a whole conversation there that's an interesting one, because I've had a lot of mentors teach me about that type of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, next time you come on, that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because I did a show on sex, and my thing is that I've learned is just because men expect to have sex whenever they want, it's not fair.
No.
And get over yourself now.
Yeah, it's ego driven in many ways, man.
Yes.
I heard something the other day, and this will make a connection here with the sex thing. There was a guy on TikTok. It was like some monk. He said, "Why is it then when two people are in the same room and they're screaming at each other?" He said the reason is because their hearts have grown far apart. And the reason that two people can be in the same room and not have to say a word is because their hearts have come close. If you think about having sex with someone, your hearts are right next to each other.
Yeah.
So if you're having sex with someone because you want to, or you're my wife, you're supposed to, or whatever, and your hearts are not connected, right? There's no meaning to it, and it really doesn't give the fulfillment that it should. You're having an orgasm, and that's great for a minute, but the connection is not there, so it kind of loses the meaning.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But when you're younger,
oh yeah, that's a different story.
You don't think like that.
That's a different story. Young Clark Bartram would not have answered that question that
way. Okay. So this is my question for you. Lithium I've been taking for 30 years straight. How bad is that for the kidneys?
Again, your blood is going to tell you that.
I know.
Right? So if your kidneys are the enzymes and you're seeing it, well, I'll give you an example. Some people metabolize things better than others.
Yeah.
I have people that I know who drink a lot and have had their blood tested and their liver doesn't show any elevated enzymes or anything like that, where I just had a conversation with my doctor the other day because we're looking at my blood to do this program that I'm promoting. He said, "Hey, do you drink?" I said, "Yeah, I'll have an occasional glass of wine, tequila, whatever." And he said, "How do you feel about stopping?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because your liver enzymes are elevated. And, your kidneys are showing some stuff too." And I said, done.
Wow.
I'm not going to drink. That's it. He said, they'll heal, right? And that's the beauty of our body is those organs will heal themselves if we give them rest.
Yeah.
If we let them recover.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the sleep thing. While we're sleeping, all of that stuff is regenerating. The cells are turning over. Autophagy is happening.
Clark, I know exactly where I'm at mentally by my sleep. I know.
Yeah.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night. Well, I have sleep apnea, so that's a whole other thing.
Do you wear a mask?
I haven't. Look, it's weird. It's amazing. I was wearing the mask and the whole thing, and then the pandemic hit. You know what happened? Bad. And then I got through that. I haven't worn a mask. I haven't, and I'm not encouraging this. I'm saying you should wear the mask. You should go to therapy. I just haven't. This has been kind of my therapy. But I'm sleeping great, feeling great,
Looking great.
Looking not as good as you, but I'm gonna keep working out to look better than you, so I can kick your ass.
I love that.
Okay, thank you. But it's amazing that I haven't. The sleep is great because here's the thing: I used to wake up and then freak out, like I gotta get to sleep now. Now I wake up. All right, turn the TV on. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. If I don't, I don't. So let me tell you what the worst thing is, and I think you know, especially for mental illness. It's stress.
Yeah.
If you can eliminate your stress, like I have in the last 2 years, I thought I did before the pandemic. Obviously, I wasn't doing it right. But if you can eliminate your stress, things will go much more smoothly.
Yeah, we don't want to eliminate our stress. It's impossible. Some stress is necessary. We want to manage our stress, and that's the framework that we should put around it. You know, I was thinking about this on the way up here. I have a sign in my house that says lighthearted and carefree. That's the way I want to live my life. And if we could all move towards that, and that's where not being in fifth and sixth gear. I love the fact that you use that analogy for your life because you can gauge it. If you look at a car that's in fifth gear, it's at the red line. And that's a warning that this engine is going to blow up.
Sure.
So if we're living in a way that is heavy, it's not lighthearted. If you have a heavy heart, how many times have we heard that? I have a heavy heart. We need to figure out how to manage our stress to take some of the weight off of it. Like getting the next thing is not that important, especially when we have some shit going down in our life that like makes us completely forget about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to, I don't even want to say it because I forget the 4 things that he said. There are 4 reasons that we change in life. And the final one was we're hurting so much that we have to.
That's it. That's a good one.
You know, and I don't ever want to get to the place where I'm hurting so much that I have to change, because change can happen in a good state or in a bad state.
I know.
You know?
I know. But usually for me, it's been in the worst state.
So the lesson that you were meant to learn in that worst state is, okay, I'm not going to get to this place again. I'm going to do the work on the other end when things are going really great, right? The show's going good. I'm making money. Boom, everything's popping off. My kid's on TV working now and all of that. Like, that's the time to really dig in and change. And because now we're capable of really learning this stuff and absorbing what we're, you know.
You're absolutely right. See, we click.
Yeah.
I will say this about, I don't know if you're feeling it, state of mind, audience, right now, but we're clicking on a lot of cylinders right now. And I'm not saying that this is the greatest thing since Gandhi, but I will say that this is good shit happening right now. Ask me some questions, 3, 5 questions.
Okay, so what's it like to be a TV star? Every day you wake up and you get to go entertain people. Have you taken that for granted?
I haven't taken that for granted because I've been very humble with my ego was out of control, yes, but I've never taken it for granted because I appreciate it so much because of the audience. I've always been so humble with the audience, so I'd never take that for granted. Now, have I taken, have I done things at my work, which is General Hospital, that, maybe that I'm not very proud of? Yes. If that means taking it, taking it. Can
you share one of those?
Well,
things?
I mean, maybe yelled at someone a little too much.
A little Christian Bale, lose your mind episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, for instance, if I'm on the set.
So you can relate to the Mel Gibsons and the Christian Bales.
Well, the Mel Gibson.
Not specifically what he did, but the outrage or the outburst.
Completely. When, especially if I'm hungry.
So is that what causes it, you think? So you're on set. Let's say you're on set and you're going and someone comes to you and says, hey, Maurice, you forgot to say this line or whatever. And you're just like, hey, fucking shut up, you mother.
Yes.
And then it's too late. The cat is out of the bag.
I used to go from 1 to 100 like that. And I talked to my therapist. My therapist, he says, why do you yell at? And I said, because I get what I want. I can't help it. If somebody says something stupid about acting it's always about the work. I never yell for, people, they love me, the crew, everybody. The crew actually likes seeing me go off. It's fun for them. But he said, listen, first of all, you got to do it differently. Okay?
You got to go off on people differently?
Yeah.
In a cooler way, and a less...
You don't need that. And I said,
Right.
well, that's something. He goes, because ultimately, you're hurting yourself.
You're hurting your brand.
Yeah. Well, myself, this is where he got me.
Health?
Yeah. Because anxiety comes from me yelling. Listen, this is the way it is. Me yelling, then having to go through everybody's watching, then feeling bad for yelling. So that's stressful. So then, it's so when he told me that, now it happens every so often, but it used to happen a lot. If I'm doing a scene, somebody was talking, I would be like this is what I would do. Oh my, are you fucking kidding me? I feel like I'm acting in my backyard with a bunch of animals running around. That's the kind of stuff that I would say, Because to me, it's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's if we're doing the work, we're doing the work. And what if it's a great scene and you... So, next.
Yeah, that guilt is what keeps you up at night, right? So you're not having that guilt now. So that's what giving you... So you've managed that stress better. So that's what's giving you the opportunity to sleep.
Exactly.
So last time I was here, you had talked about your dad. Photo right next to you there.
Right.
So if he was on State of Mind with you right now, what would be a question that you would ask him?
I wouldn't have to ask him anything because my dad was like, whatever I am, he was 3 times more. If I'm funny, he was 3 times more. If I have charisma, he had 3 times more. If I can dance, he better dancing, like 3 times better. So he would just talk, man. My dad would sit. Here's what my dad, he'd be like this. You want me to become my dad right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mauricio, tell me, what is the difference between anxiety and depression? Dad, you asked me that already like 10, 20 times. I know. Just, what is the difference? I don't know. I mean, they're both bad. I think for me, anxiety is worse. Why? I don't know. Okay. And then he'd say, Mauricio, who is most famous? Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley? I said, Dad, you've asked me this 50. And he goes, just tell me. I said, Elvis Presley. No. Give me tequila. No Elvis Presley. Frank Sinatra. I said, Dad, how do you know Frank Sinatra's more famous? Because when I was in Mexico, everybody talks about Frank Sinatra. That's my dad.
That's awesome, man. I love how you can just feel his energy and his spirit and just go right into it.
Completely, man.
You could have a conversation with him anytime you want to, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you had anyone in the world that you could interview right now in this chair, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you ask them?
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. Why Marlon Brando?
Well, he was such a great actor, and I loved that he didn't want to act. He hated it, or so he says. So the question I would ask him is, listen, Marlon, did you really hate it, or is that just a thing? And why did you have to put the lines all over the place? Were you really lazy, or where did that come from? Did you not want to memorize the lines? Was that it? And then he had it in his ear, and I would be like, why did you have the line? Somebody telling you the lines? That's hard to do. Yeah. How did you do it? Those are the questions I would ask him.
Interesting. I didn't know that. He had an ear prompt in, and
he had an ear,
his lines.
And then he put lines in people's chest, and he'd read it off there.
Wow. Interesting. You know, it's funny that you said your dad is 3 times everything of you. It's funny that you used 3 times, right? It could have been any number.
Yeah.
I always told my mom I loved her 3 green bones. I don't know where green bones came from, but it was 3 of them. It was specific.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, one more, and we'll.
One more question for Maurice Benard. I would say, if you could have done anything else in life other than being a TV star and Sonny on General Hospital for so many years and entertaining so many people, what would that have been?
I think I would have loved to have been a boxer or a lawyer.
How about a boxing lawyer?
Yeah, that would have been good. Or doing a movie
of a
boxing lawyer. Yeah. That's cool. But a boxer, that would have been, it would have been hard, just difficult. But because I wanted to do that when I was young, and then I trained with this guy's brother who was a boxer, like a real boxer, and he saw me hitting the bags and everything, and he said, you know what, you could do it, but you're gonna have to lose like 25 pounds, and you're gonna have your nose broken. And I said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, the 25 pounds, no problem. Breaking my nose, that's my money maker, man. Can't be breaking the nose.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. All right, listen, Clark. We've done. This has been just. I don't know. I don't even want to say what it's been, because it doesn't need to be said. This is his second time here, and this is better than the first. Although the first was great, but this was special, I think. We'll see what you guys think, but I believe it felt that way. And we're going to have him back.
And we're going to work out.
We're going to work out together. He's going to teach me how to work whatever. And you know, what I'm trying to do, and you guys let me know how you feel about this. I want to have him come back like once every 3 months with your questions, and we can talk about stuff just like today. It's just been great.
So can I give everybody a little bit of homework before we end
go,
this here?
Good.
Because I want to get some comments and I want to get some interaction
if
I'm going to come back. I was thinking about how we get stuck in patterns in life, and most people, we wake up, right? We get up in the morning, we do the same thing. We have a cup of coffee. I want everyone who's watching this to just try an experiment. Tomorrow in the morning when you wake up, I want you to get up on a different side of the bed, right? Brush your teeth with the opposite hand. That really engages the brain. So instead of, if you're right-handed, use your left hand to brush your teeth. Watch how engaged your brain needs to be.
Wow.
Because we create these patterns in our mind, right? Or these neurological pathways. Take a different way to work. If you drink lemonade, drink orange juice. Just change everything in the morning. Take a hot shower and then a cold shower afterwards. Try the cold water. I talked about that last time, and I saw the reaction on your face. You're like, you do that? People freak out with cold water. But the point I'm trying to make is I just want anyone who's watching here who feels stuck, right? Because that's what this program is about, getting unstuck. So a good way to get unstuck is change the way you do things first thing in the morning. And everyone knows what that is. So that's what I want to see. And I would love to see the comments below how that went. So make sure you comment and tell us what you did differently and how it affected you.
And give your things so where they can go to you, Clark.
Yeah, so Instagram is just at Clark Bartram. TikTok is The Real Clark Bartram. And if you just Google me, I'm all over the place.
Handsome Clark, there's another one that's on the other side. All right, State of Mind, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do it again. Bye-bye.
Peace.